about 5 minutes, so we're going to go ahead and just chat. So basically, this video is for all of you guys. If you have questions about COVID, I'm here for you guys. Any resources that you need help with, I'm always here. Probably the one that I would say that is getting the most attention right now is for unemployment and disability insurance. So those two things are handled through the state of California. So a lot of that has been in the news lately, and just talking about some of the delays and stuff that are happening now, just because so many people are unemployed and so many people have been applying for benefits. An interesting thing that recently came out that I've been hearing from folks is that some people who have applied for benefits over the last, maybe 4 weeks, are just now starting to get checks. So there have been some people who have been waiting for their checks to go through for a while now. And then they've just started the new program, which is through the CARES Act. So it's Pandemic Unemployment Assistance. And that is for people who either didn't qualify for regular unemployment insurance for whatever reason. Sometimes they're independent contractors, don't have a long enough work history here in California, whatever that looks like. But that program just started taking applications this past Tuesday, so the 28th. Again, unfortunately, there's been some issues there as well. Basically, the system isn't equipped to handle the amount of applications that it's getting. So what's happening is that a lot of people are getting kicked out when they're trying to apply. They're getting a lot of error messages and error codes when they're applying. So just a lot of issues. The unfortunate thing is that they do have a contact number. They do have a customer service line, but that's also super impacted. So they're dealing with millions and millions of people who are trying to get a hold of them. So it's kind of really difficult to get a hold of anybody there in the state. I have been following along with some news from the governor, and I recently heard that they authorized about 600 more employees to go work in that department. So trying to expedite some more resources there so that people can get the help that they need, so that they can process applications a little bit more efficiently and get people the funds that they need. Unfortunately, it's just it trickles down. So the people who need assistance the most are the ones that are sort of affected by all of this. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of the biggest thing that I've been noticing and what I get asked the most about. The other thing that I can think of that we can chat about is food resources. So a lot of folks kind of segueing into food, have lost their jobs, lost incomes, so are definitely dealing with food insecurity and maybe just overall financial sort of instability. The cool thing about that is that there are two organizations that have kind of existed in San Diego pre-COVID and have really stepped up since all of this sort of started. So the first one is Feeding San Diego, which is an offshoot of Feeding America. So Feeding America is kind of like the large national umbrella corporation, and then Feeding San Diego is our local chapter. So one of the cool things that they do is they have maybe 5 or 6 local, pickup sites where you can go and get food. Sometimes it's usually like a big bag or a box. The main one that they do every Saturday is down at Qualcomm, and I think it's at 9:30. Let me just consult my little cheat sheet that I have here on my computer. Bear with me while I open that. Yeah, so it's every Saturday at 9. And it's the northeast lot there in Qualcomm. So if you're familiar with Qualcomm, it's the lot on the north side closest to the 15, so that kind of upper corner there. They also have about 6 other ones that kind of rotate through the week. The cool thing about that is they're sort of spread out all over the city and the county. So folks who live in the South Bay, folks who live more central, folks who live in North County, there's options for everybody. So no matter where you live in San Diego, there's a place that's going to be close to you. And for most of those, there's no requirements. They just sort of ask that you self-certify is what they say for income. I'm not exactly sure how that works. I think they just ask a question. For the most part, I think folks who are going to those locations really need assistance. So I think they understand, and the people who are working there aren't really asking too many questions about eligibility or anything like that. So, and then the other local organization is the San Diego Food Bank, and they're kind of same as Feeding San Diego. They've been around for a while and have distribution locations all throughout the county. Some that operate every week, some that sort of pop up and are in locations that are central, and also sort of a response to the increase in need and demand for food right now. So those are the two main ones for food. And then there's a whole bunch of just other local organizations who have been doing things. There's a lot of like neighborhoods that have sort of banded together and have been helping each other out. So it's really interesting to see how people have sort of been working together to help each other out. And see, I had a little agenda. Yeah, so food and unemployment, disability. Those are the two things that I really wanted to address today, just because I feel like the questions that I've been getting, in the past few weeks have really been sort of focused on that. So I just really wanted to make sure that we, are getting the information out for folks and making sure that we support our patients and even just, the larger community, the larger UCSD San Diego community, really, and get information out to everyone so that, it's a very difficult, very interesting, unprecedented time. And, I think anything and any information that we can get out is hopefully helpful to everyone. So, yeah. I think the other thing that really has come out with all of this has been a focus on sort of mental health, specifically, stress and anxiety, being home for most of the day. I don't know about you all, but I have been sort of sheltering in place for the last almost 8 weeks now. So, it's pretty common to go through days where you're feeling really anxious or really stressed out. And I think what has really helped and what I found for myself personally is just making sure that I stick to a routine. So, on work days, waking up at, a similar time, maybe not the same time you wake up every day because we don't necessarily have to deal with traffic or anything like that. So maybe sleeping a little bit longer, but definitely getting up, getting ready to go to work, if you will, getting ready for the day, I think helps a lot of people. It's really just trying to create a sense of routine so that, your brain sort of can process things a little bit easier and it feels a little more natural, if you will. This situation isn't natural, it's not normal, it's completely, out of the ordinary for us. So I think any little thing that we can do to sort of make ourselves feel comfortable and feel like we are in a routine, I think, and making it as normal, I don't like to use that word, but you know what I mean, as normal as we can. The other thing I think that's important, and I think Peter, our physical therapist, and Dre, our athletic trainer, have talked about this, is getting out, being active, taking a walk around the block, wearing a mask and maintaining your 6 feet from other folks, but, going out for short walks around the block in your neighborhood. There's some limited access to parks, so maybe walking through parks, walking around parks, not necessarily doing any activity in the park, but just being out and getting air, fresh air. I've encouraged people to do yoga at home. There's tons of great apps that are available. Some are free. There's YouTube videos for free that you can do yoga with, just to get moving and just to sort of get out of the, some of the funkiness that happens and the stagnation that we can experience. Anything that you can do to stay active, I think, is helpful. Radwagon says anything on EDD, and we did talk a little bit about unemployment and disability. Yeah, I mean, it's just difficult. They're experiencing such a high volume. I wish that there was more that I could say on the topic, and there was a little bit more hope that I could offer, but I do know that the governor has mentioned, like I said before, an additional 600 employees that they're sending for that office for EDD to help with processing claims. They have increased their call center hours. They're open 8 to 8, I think 7 days a week now. I know that I've heard from people that they're still getting the typical runaround message of, we're experiencing a high volume of calls, please try again later. I always tell people call sort of those off-peak hours. So if you can call later in the evening, try that. And then also for people that were experiencing glitches on the EDD website, I was suggesting to try, off-peak as well, later in the evening, after dinner type of thing. If you're a night owl, staying up late and seeing if you can access the website then, because there's going to be less people on, so it's going to be a little easier to log on. I do know that the system isn't very user-friendly, at least from the provider side. I know that when we've logged on and tried to help with processing disability claims, sometimes there's a character limit, but it doesn't necessarily tell you that there is. So, you're typing this beautiful explanation about your disability, or entering in all this other information and really being thorough, because you are trying to make sure that you give all the information that you can. But then there's a pop-up when you try to submit it saying, oh, you typed, or you're over the character limit, but they didn't tell you what the character limit was. So it's frustrating, yes. My advice to people is give yourself about an hour and a half maybe to complete the application, and just be really patient with the system and with yourself. Understand that when you stop and get frustrated, it's completely okay, and it's something that's expected, and just giving yourself the time to sort of get through it. And coming back to stressed out and frustrated, we were talking about yoga and movement and stuff. Meditation is also something that some people think is a little bit more intense than it really is. Yeah. I think for me, meditation is really just being in the moment, giving yourself space to breathe, giving yourself space to relax. A lot of people think that it's sort of this, I have to clear my mind and I have to reach this meditative state where I don't think about anything and I'm completely calm and relaxed. And, I think maybe that's something that can happen eventually after years and years and years of practice. But I think overall with meditation, what you're really trying to do is just settle in and give yourself space to feel, give yourself space to just sort of be, if you will, and whatever that looks like. Even if you're having difficulty with it, that's completely okay, and that's part of the process of part of meditation is feeling that and saying, okay, well, excuse me, I'm stuck in this sort of funk, and when you're stopping and meditating and breathing, just really sort of feeling that, and what is that, and what is it that exactly that you're feeling. So many times, I think just in society, we have feelings about having feelings where, we're anxious or scared or stressed out, and we think that those are bad. So it sort of makes that feeling bigger. So if you're saying, well, I'm really stressed out, and you keep telling yourself, I'm stressed and I shouldn't be, and I just need to relax, and I just need to calm down, sometimes that makes the stress worse. So part of, what I think I try to help folks do is just recognize, that feelings are completely natural. And, especially right now with everything that's going on, I think really allowing yourself the opportunity to feel whatever it is that is going on in your body and in your mind, and just saying, okay, I'm stressed out today, and that's okay, you know, and focusing on what you can control in that moment versus what you can't, you know, saying, I'm stressed out with what's going on in the world. I can stay home and control, what goes on here at home. I can wash my hands. I can sanitize things. I can clean the kitchen. I can, you know, clean my little space where I am. And, make sure that I don't invite people into my house, who maybe haven't washed their hands or whatever, whatever that looks like. Rather than focusing on, when you go out and saying, oh, yeah, I'm at the grocery store. I don't know if, any of these people are sick, or I don't know, if I touch this cabinet at the store, who else touched it before me? You know, controlling your environment and recognizing what you have control over, I think, helps a lot with all of that. Have some water. You have the email saying that it's just. I don't think that one gets. My allergies have been acting up, so my throat's dry. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's sort of what I wanted to talk about today. I think those were the main points. Unemployment, disability, some food resources, just managing stress, anxiety. I think really my point in all of this that we're talking about is just to say that this is kind of completely unprecedented, and at least our generation, we've never sort of been through anything like this. So just realizing that and understanding that, we have to figure things out. We have to figure out new ways of doing things. And sometimes we need to ask for help, and sometimes we need to say, stop and say, hey, I'm stressed out today, or I'm anxious today, and asking for whatever sort of support you need. Is it, someone to talk to? Is it someone to sort of point you in the right direction with the resource? Or is it, I don't know, calling your physician to ask about symptoms? Just reaching out, I think, is really important right now. We are at home, and some of us are alone at home, but I think we need to rely on friends, family, whatever our support system looks like. I think it's been really interesting to see how technologies that sort of have existed for a while, but haven't really been explored. Zoom, for example, is something that's really sort of become popular in recent weeks. And I think, it's interesting because it's something that existed, primarily in the business world before, and it's sort of come into more of a social connection tool. I think it's connected us more so than, traditional social media channels. Facebook has been sort of really divisive and negative, for lack of a better word. Instagram, I think, is very showy and sort of people try to present an image, and I think Zoom is really a social media tool for right now and where we're at and what we need. We really need that connection and support, really. Yeah, so that's really all that I wanted to address today. I don't know if anyone has questions about anything specific that they wanted me to address. If you guys need any of the information that I've gone over here, for example, the food bank lists, any additional information on EDD or unemployment, disability, you guys can always email me, and yeah, I can respond. You can send me my chart messages. You can call the office. I'm not in the office right now. clearly, but if you call the office and talk to Eric, there at the front desk, Eric can route a message to me, and we can address it that way. So if you want, that phone number for the main office is 858-657-6028. I'll type it in the comments. I don't know if the comments save for future. We'll go ahead and type it there. And then my email address, I will also type there. But in the event that it doesn't save, it's AD, my last name, Carranza, CARRANZA, at health.ucsd.edu. So those are probably the two easiest ways to get a hold of me. And yeah, hope to hear from some of you guys soon. I have chatted with quite a bit of our patients, and I think people are, like I said, people are doing the best that they can right now, and just trying to navigate what this looks like and what this has become and what our reality is now. So yeah, just know that whatever you're doing and whatever you need is completely okay right now. Yeah, be safe, wash your hands, sanitize, maintain that social distance, that physical distance, but at the same time, reach out. People are here for you. People are here to help. People are here to support. I'll hang out for a few more minutes if people are still signing on. I don't know if anyone wants to type a question. I'll hang out for a few minutes and we'll see if anyone signs in, if there's any question. And yes, I will be here next week, for those of you who are wondering. This will be weekly. It's scheduled for 2 to 3 o'clock. Today looks like we're going to wrap up about 30 minutes early. Just want to hold that hour so that if people sign on, if people have questions, we can be here and have that time. And I believe that this, like I said, this video saves, so for future use. All right, I think I'm going to jump off. Like I said, feel free to reach out if you need anything, have any questions. If not, I'll see you guys next week.